All right, so my heart emoji eyes look adorable. I like the placement. They're a good placement. Here we go. I am going to take these two off while I stitch the first one. Now, we're doing a running stitch. This needle is sharp. You must be careful. Remember, I'm going to stitch this together with the other side, so you don't want your facial expressions too close to the edge, about a finger's distance apart, okay? Now, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to start my stitch on the back side. Now I'm holding it from the front because I need to be able to stick my needle through and have it come in on the edge of my front, on my pink heart. I'm going to push it through. Carefully get this. Ooh, come on, needle. Pull it through, and the knot should stop it on the other side. Now we're going to do our running stitch. You remember, I'm going to just trim off this tape. I think it was getting stuck in there. A running stitch just goes around the edge. So I'm poking in, a little bit inside, and pulling through. See my first stitch? They're about I wonder how far apart these are. I can get out my ruler and measure it once I'm finished. Now you're only gonna see every other stitch in the running stitch, okay? You can decide how close you want your stitch, but once you start, you want to keep them about the same distance. That gives good consistency and your sewing will look nice. I'm just carefully stitching on my felt, taking my time, flipping it over, pushing, oh, that went a little too far in, realigning, being careful, pulling, making sure to pull it tight as we go, but not too tight that it starts pulling your felt, just snug. Wiggling it through. My knot on my needle is getting stuck, so if that's happening to you, that's okay. I think it's because I made a double knot. So maybe just do a single knot or just wiggle it through like I did. All right, we're getting close to the end. I'm going to come up here. All right, that looks cute. I think I'm going to do one tiny little stitch here. There we go. All right, I have my first heart eye emoji stitched on. Now, on the back side, we're going to want to tie it off. So what you want to do is, move this out of the way. You're going to want to take your needle, loop it underneath that last stitch, and before you pull the loop tight, you see that loop? You're going to put the needle through, and you've now made a knot on the back side. Go ahead and do it again in the same loop, and you have a knot. We're going to cut it close, about 1 centimeter from that knot. Now the rest of this, you're going to just, if you only have a short amount like I do, you're just going to carefully cut that knot off and restring your next color. Now mine is the same color, so if I had enough string, I would have kept it connected. But I did not measure it out for both eyes, only one eye at a time. All right, next. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna set it out about 1 inch down. I'm gonna loop it around. Now I know I'm not using pink on my mouth, so I am gonna measure and just come down, and that should be more than enough. All right, let's see if I can get this through. Ooh, that was lucky. All right, I'm just gonna make 1 knot this time, loop it under, push it through, pull the knot. Now we have our knot on our needle. Now we need to make a knot at the other end. Okay. All right. So here's another way to do a knot. Nope, I'm not going to show you another way. We're just going to do a knot the same way I did. Make a loop, pull it through, do it twice. Then we're going to stitch on using the running stitch our other eye, starting from the back side. I'm going to start down here at the bottom at the point. Now see, a few times I did it about 3 times until I pulled it back through, until I liked where my needle was coming through. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and start my running stitch, making sure I do not poke my fingers on the back side. Taking my time. I want this stitch, oops, to be very similar in width to my first stitch on my other eye. So the distance that I sew should be about the same on each of my facial expressions that we sew on. Sewing this on will make sure that our emoji expressions stay on our beautiful emoji plushie we're making. Oop, my knot's coming loose on my needle. Make sure we keep checking that, or you'll have to re-thread it. Remember, you can use tape to get the thread closer and connected for threading the needle. I'm coming around the other side, and I'm just going to fast forward to the end using my running stitch. All right, I have it sewn on. Oh my gosh, it looks adorable. I'm gonna flip it over, just like the first one. I'm gonna take it through that back loop right here. Loop it through. And do it again. Pull it through, make a loop. Ah! I missed the loop. So I could come through and come back through the loop to pull the knot tight. Okay, snip that. I have another 2 inches left over. We can just snip that off if you can get close enough to break that point. Awesome. So you have your eyes sewn on. They look adorable. All right, next is going to be my mouth. Now I'm going to use the black thread this time for my mouth. All right. Let me pull it out. Have it over of at least 2 inches. Loop it around. Measuring out to see how much thread I will need. And then another 2 inches on this side. This is for tying the needle, and this is so you have enough for tying the knot at the end. Okay? Always better to have just a little bit too much than not enough, okay? All right, I'm gonna thread the needle again, lining it up. Remember, you can tape the ends if it's too hard. Loop it around like you would tie your shoe. Cross it over, push it through, and pull. And now I have my knot. Next, I'm going to make the knot at the end. Loop it over, push it around, pull it through, and do it a second time. Make sure when you do a second knot at the end that the knots line up on top of each other. You want to make it thick enough that it's not going to just come right through when you're sewing. Okay. All right, let's get this adorable emoji smile glued on. You know what? I'm just going to tweak a few things real quick before we get this on. I just need it a little extra smiley, I think. All right, it's good to go. All right. What's up? What's up, Colston? Okay. You can sit in here if you're quiet, okay?
Fine. Why do I have to be quiet?
I'm recording this video.
Oh.
Okay, sweetie?
How are you recording it?
On my phone. Yeah. Oh gosh, well this one's actually really hard to see this stitch because I'm using black, so not sure if that will be the best option for everyone, but I hope you can kind of see it. Oh, not really, but I'm using my running stitch, keeping it spaced out the same as I did on the eyes. All right, I'm almost to the end of my smile, so I'm gonna finish off my stitch. 1 or 2 more stitches, making sure that is secure. And tie a knot on the back, flip it over, take that last stitch, put your needle underneath. I sometimes get a little bit of the felt, that's okay, no big deal. Loop the needle back through that loop, pull it tight, loop it through that loop again, back through, pull it tight. All right. We have finished, and then snip about 1 centimeter up. We have finished stitching on the front of our emoji plushies. Good job. Now you can see the back of mine looks cool too. You can see my running stitch on the back. Pretty cool. All right, next we're gonna work on the blanket stitch and then stuffing our emojis.